Okay. Okay, gotcha. Hey, family, go ahead on. Get tuned in. We got a lot to talk about on this wonderful Wednesday. So, James, how long have you been doing your show? I've been, I've been 15. Awesome. Once again, and welcome to, that's right, it's the Great James Community Show right here on Hallelujah 95.3. Want you to go ahead on. Those of you who are tuned in to all of our virtual platforms, I need you to go ahead on and tag, share, and let's get everybody in today. We got a lot that we're going to talk about. We're in the holiday spirit. And we're going to talk about something that's happening on the hill. But before we get started, let's just talk just for a few minutes in my 1 minute roundup. I'm gonna give 30 seconds to FAMU, 30 seconds to FSU, and I'll be done. I promise you, I'm not gonna talk no politics today. Not gonna talk what's happening at the Capitol. Not gonna talk about what's going on at the school board or what's going on in the mayor's office or the state attorney. None of that today. I'm gonna give 30 seconds to shout out the FAMU baby rattler. Not baby rattlers, the FAMU Rattlers. That's right. And Coach Willis Simmons in an amazing seasons and becoming SWAC champs. And now they're headed to the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia. So I want to give a big shout out to Coach Simmons for what he has been able to show from year after year, building a team, not only building a team, but bringing fans back into the stands. And week after week, I mean, every home game, you saw it. Everybody was excited about the Rattlers striking again. Big shout out to the entire team, the coaching staff, for what has happened over at AMU. And then when we move over on the FSU side of things, oh my God, everybody's weighing in on what they thought the outcome should have been, could have been, would have been. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Big shouts out to Coach Norvell and the Florida State Seminoles for an amazing season, perfect record, ACC champs, and didn't make it, Rico, into the Final Four. But hey, so many opinions that have been, tossed out, so many things that have been said. So I just decided that I'll take the verse from the Bible where it says, study to be quiet. And I just say, I'm just be quiet, give a big shout out to FSU and what they've been able to accomplish under the leadership of Coach Norvell. Look like Doc D. Look like you got something to say, Doc D? You good? Okay, all right. So, hey, that's my 1 minute roundup. Stay tuned. Listen, I'm going to be talking as the days come with some amazing projects that are happening. We're going to highlight some things starting today that's happening around and about the city, the counties. Just want to give, as we move into the holiday season, just want to give you some awareness of some things that you can be a part of and some things that are going to just be impactful throughout the holiday season. It's a tough time for all of us, but listen, there are people who are out here making a difference. And I've got two important people that I'm going to be talking to next week. They're important to me because they're partnering with the Figures Foundation and Reclaiming the Land, and they're doing some work on some senior homes throughout Leon, Gaston, and Wakulla, free of charge, buying all of the material and making it happen. I'm going to be talking with those general contractors who are partnered with the Figures Foundation to give back to some of our seniors. So you stay tuned. You're going to hear more about that. Listen, I'm going to pause for a minute. I want this song to bless you. And then when I come back, I'm going to be talking with Mr. Scott, who is the director of outreach with Indelible. He's going to talk to me about what's going on this weekend, and we're just going to talk. Keep it locked right here, 95.3 FM. It's Hallelujah, and it's the Great James Community Show. And I will be right back. Okay. Man. Woo. But it took a lot out of me then. Hey, go ahead on it.
How do you do your show?
I do it once a week. Once a week.
Okay.
Yeah, from 2 to 3 every Wednesday.
That's awesome.
Hey, man, go ahead on and tag and share. Rico, good to have you on. Marcus, good to have you. Go ahead on and tag, share. Let's get everybody in today. I'm going to give you some exciting information that you can get your family out to, that you can get your kids involved in. It's an amazing time that's going to be happening right here in the city of Tallahassee. So keep it locked. I'm going to tell you more about it real soon. So, man, listen, I want to talk about basically a lot of it. So you handle outreach. Well, we're back right here on the Great James Community Show. I want to give a big shout out to Christy Henry. She is round and about preparing for something that's going to be happening on tomorrow. She wanted me to make sure I remind y'all. Let me find that, Christy, so I can put it out there. On tomorrow, that's right. Tomorrow it's going to be a big, it's a big fundraiser that they're having. It's the WFSU Winter Pledge Drive. That's going to be happening tomorrow. Attorney Akbar, Steve Beasley, and Christy Henry. Okay, they're going to be in a major fundraiser on tomorrow. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about what we're about to talk about. It's the holidays, and there's so much going on in and around the city, the county. And certainly I'm delighted to have the director of outreach, Mr. Scott, with me in the studios from Indelible. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Reverend James. I appreciate you having me on the show this afternoon.
Hey, man, listen, I'm glad to have you. I'm glad to hear about what's happening this weekend. But beyond all of that, I'm grateful for the work that the young men are doing over at Indelible.
Yes,
I understand they are graduates of FAMU.
Absolutely. So Indelible is a management consulting firm. We're actually founded by Joshua Hay and Michael White, who are both SBI grads from FAMU. I've had the pleasure of knowing these guys since I was 18 years old. And big shout out to Michael White as well, who was recently appointed to the FAMU Board of Trustees. I was actually at the Grand Ballroom a little earlier today for the trustee meeting. And, it's just a blessing, truly, Reverend James, for us to be in this position, especially since, Tallahassee is really a second home to us.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah, man. One of the things I want to say is that certainly we did our Tallahassee Leadership Prayer Breakfast, and Indelible was one of our major sponsors to help facilitate the event. And it was just an amazing time to see what they're doing and how they're giving back to the communities, not just in Tallahassee, but all over. And so when you talk, you're the director of outreach, man. I mean, what does that feel like?
It feels amazing. Like I said before, Indelible, we've been around for 5 years now. We recently celebrated our 5th year anniversary in August. And just to give a bit of a background on what we do, we're a management consulting firm. And so what that looks like is we come in and help government agencies from the federal all the way to the state, city, and county level with any type of initiatives and programs that they have. So we come in, we help with the research, the implementation, and we do everything from emergency management to health and human services, transportation and infrastructure, technology solutions, and then we have a business solutions vertical as well that helps private companies and universities. And so the ultimate goal with our company is to make sure that these resources and initiatives go to the people that need them the most. And so when you talk about what my role as a director of outreach looks like, it's really overseeing and putting the strategy behind how we connect with communities, underserved communities, communities of color, to make sure that they understand these programs, that there's an awareness of the programs, and also that we walk them through the process of applying, if there's an application process, to get them the resources and the funding that they need.
Wow, one of the things that I think is so important, and I think you said it well, the undeserved communities, because there's so many communities that are within the state of Florida. There are so many that are in much need of not only resources, but before they can understand how to manage the resources, they have to understand just the knowledge of what is needed.
Yes,
So
sir.
when you go into an undeserved community, what are some of the challenges there that you find yourself facing as the director of outreach?
So one of the biggest things is people often don't believe these programs are true, right? It's too good to be true.
Right.
And so what we really base a lot of it on is education and awareness, right? So we have to, number one, educate communities and individuals to let them know what the program really is, because they think there's a string attached. And a lot of times we're overseeing grants management. So we're working with government grant programs that we can connect folks with. And we have to break through those barriers of hesitancy, trust for government. And so that's really where Indelible comes in, because we have brought on a team of experts that look like these communities. We speak that language. We understand some of the barriers and hardships that they've gone through, because to be quite honest, before Indelible existed, a lot of us were in some of those very similar communities. I grew up in Palmetto, Florida, which, to be quite honest, is not a huge economic boom of an area. Michael was from Sarasota, Josh was from Jacksonville. So we have that lived experience to understand what it's like to come from a household that did not always have the resources we needed. So that's very important when you're educating someone to be able to relate to them. And beyond that, really walk them through that process of educating them on how they can best benefit from the programs that are available.
Wow. And I think that is so important, to not only have the lived experience, but the lived experience with the knowledge to be able to relate. And I think a lot of times what we're missing, and I want to give a big thumbs up to Indelible. A lot of times what we're missing is that just everyday human touch. People don't care how much you know until they really know how much you care. And I think that what we've been able to see for the last 5 years with this company, which is minority owned, is that there is a caring hand that is a part of the overall business component of the company.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. I mean, community is really first in mind and in heart with anything that we do. And that's what separates us from the rest of these other companies that, mind you, as you mentioned, we are a minority owned company, but we don't tend to lead with that. We're just the best at what we do.
Wow, I like that. The best at what we do.
Absolutely. And it's not a braggadocious thing, but it's being honest, right?
It is what it is.
Yeah. So, we've been able to come in and help a lot of different government entities, as well as nonprofit organizations, to really bolster and get these programs out and do it in a major way. And so, like I said, it's really a blessing for me to be in this position, because being forward facing with the community is something that I've always been a part of. I think when it comes down to philanthropy, a lot of people think you have to be a millionaire in order to do good. But ultimately, when you're volunteering, when you're in the community, when you're working with these churches and working with these community-based groups, having a heart for those people and just acknowledging that they're people first. We're all people first, right? So that humanizing aspect is extremely important to be successful in this work. And, we're grateful to be able to be in a position to do that and to bring that message.
Wow. Hey, listen, I'm talking with Ms. Scott, who's the director of outreach from Indelible. And one of the things that I want those of you who are listening to the broadcast to know is that Indelible is a minority-owned company. And the young men who are at the head of it, the young men who are partners in founding this, are graduates of FAMU.
Yes,
as a matter of fact, one of them, Mr. White, is now a member of the board of trustees at FAMU. And the thing that is so amazing about this company is that they are in the giving back. They are giving back to our community. They're giving back to communities across the state of Florida. And we get ready to talk about something that is happening here in Tallahassee. And you're excited about it.
I'm excited about it. This is the 4th year that we've been doing our Indelible Gives holiday giveaway. So this year, we're actually excited to announce that we have launched a corporate foundation. And so the name of that corporate foundation is Indelible Impacts. I'm very blessed to have been appointed as the executive director. So I'll be, carrying 2 hats moving forward. But this is going to be the first opportunity that we have to bring this holiday giveaway to Tallahassee. And, I'm really excited to talk more about it, because Reverend James, when I tell you, we've got resources galore, and everything is free.
So, wow. Everything is free. Well, listen, I've got a call. That's coming in. Hold on a minute. Let me make sure that I make all of my listeners aware. You can put on your headset, Ms. Scott. Good afternoon, caller. You're on the air. Good afternoon, caller. Man, I'm absolutely amazing. How are you? Okay. Absolutely. I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to just join this conversation, and at the very end, I'm going to call you back. I'm going to connect you all. But here's what you're going to hear. And for your agency, you're wanting to dive in on what's going to happen this weekend. So I'm going to plug you as soon as we get off the air. But I'm glad you're tuned in, and we got listeners. We got thousands of listeners tuning in today, and we're going to talk more about what's happening. And I think it'll be a great connection for your agency to connect with Indelible.
Absolutely. I mean, for all those folks that are listening in, you know, we're very much so community focused. We work with everything from faith-based organizations, churches, nonprofit groups, corporate entities that want to partner with us. And, you know, the only thing that we're looking for is good people that want to give back in a meaningful way. And so any opportunity that we have to collaborate and to, you know, expound on the work that we're doing, we always welcome it. So, you know, at the end of this, Reverend James, please, you know, you
Absolutely.
part there. We can share my information over the air. And, you know, we're going to talk a lot more about Saturday and what people can expect, because this is going to be probably one of the biggest holiday giveaways that we've done. And I'm sure one of the big ones to come to Tallahassee so far.
All right. Well, listen, keep it locked right here. Don't go nowhere. 95.3 FM. We'll be right back. We're going to talk more with Mr. Scott. He's the director of outreach with Indelible. And guess what? It's Holiday on the Hill. I'll be right back. Okay. Well, listen, go ahead on tag share. Let's get all of our pastors on. Let's get our nonprofits on. Let's get our organizations that's working with children on, because I tell you, what we're getting ready to do now is going to be amazing. So I don't want you to miss it. Commissioner Henson, glad to have you on. Listen, I need all the kids from Havana, Quincy. They need to make their way to what we're getting ready to talk about right now. Okay, that's great. That's great. Close it off. That's good. But yeah, tag share. Let's get everybody in. Let's get everybody on. And we're going to talk more details about what's happening right here on 95.3 FM. Want to say good afternoon to DC Eastman, man. How are you? Glad to have you tuned in. Tasha Chrissy, glad to have you all tuned in. I know you're watching throughout our Facebook, our Instagram, and our YouTube. So we're glad to have all of you all tune in to the broadcast. Wow, that was great, man. So I know a lot of agencies are tuning in. So
yeah, also we're having a resource fair. I'll talk more about that as well. We got 20 different local agencies, nonprofits, some county agencies, some state level agencies as well. So that'll be there in the Grand Ballroom to provide additional services along with what we're doing.
Wow, that's amazing. So you're gonna be up here all week, man?
I've been up here since Wednesday.
Last week?
I came up last week, Wednesday. I interviewed with Docs not too long ago. And then also Joe Bullock.
Say good afternoon to all of our listeners that are tuned into the broadcast. Listen, thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're watching on any of our social media platforms, go ahead and tag, share, because we're getting ready to dive into what Holiday on the Hill looks like. That's December the 9th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And when we're talking about the Hill, we've got to be talking about what Hill? FAMU, the one and only. So listen, let's talk about Holiday on the Hill. It's going to be happening on, somebody asked me this morning, they said, where's the Will Packer Performing Arts Center Amphitheater? I said, well, if you recall the set, if you remember when you can drive through the set, well, the Will Packer Amphitheater is in the heart of the set. So let's talk about first of all, before I talk about Holiday on the Hills, You've been with Indelible for 3 years doing outreach. You all have done holiday events throughout different parts of the state. One of the most memorable ones for you?
So I would say the most memorable one that we did was actually last year in Fort Myers. So as I mentioned earlier, Reverend James, as a part of the work that we do with Indelible on the corporate side, we do a lot of emergency management. And so as many people remember last year, Hurricane Ian had a huge impact on Southwest Florida. And so our team was actually deployed by the Department of Economic Opportunity to go down and manage 5 different disaster recovery centers where hurricane victims were coming in to get resources. So we worked hand in hand with FEMA and the SBA, the Department of Economic Opportunity, the Department of Children and Families, and a lot of other state agencies as the liaisons. So as those individuals were coming in, thinking they might have only got some support from FEMA or SBA, we were also triaging their situations, finding out what other resources that they needed.
Wow.
And then connecting them with state resources and local resources as well. And so, we had teams spread across Southwest Florida. I actually had the honor of being the site manager in Northport, which is in Sarasota County. And so on the back end of that, last year we actually thought about bringing this event and had planned to bring it to Tallahassee prior to the storm hitting. But once we saw the devastation that took place down in Fort Myers, we hit a pivot. And it was very important for us to do that because, there were thousands of people that have been displaced from their homes.
Absolutely.
Going through a lot of really hard times. And so our founders, like I said, Michael and Josh, they wanted us to be in a place where we were really needed. And since we saw all the devastation that was there, we ended up partnering with the city of Fort Myers and the Stars Complex, which is the community center in the heart of the Dunbar community, which is, the African-American community down there in Lee County, to put on our 3rd annual event, which was Hope for the Holidays.
Hope for the Holidays.
Yes, sir.
Wow. And I can imagine with the devastation that took place, there were families wondering what was going to happen next, what was Christmas going to look like.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm sure it was a bleak time.
It was. And I mean, as I mentioned, our team was interfacing with these people every day. So,
Building relationships.
Yes, sir. As in my role, I would open up that center in Northport every morning. And we would have a line down the road, down the sidewalk for people trying to get into the center to figure out, what was next for them. And so when you interact with folks, as we mentioned earlier, having that empathy and really having a community first spirit is very important in situations like that, because if you don't handle people with care, when they're already going through traumatic situations, it typically turns them off. And that's why, as I mentioned before, some people's engagement or their relationship with government is not always positive.
Wow. You know what? I want to echo what you said. I don't even want to mash rewind and have you say it. I just want to put it into Greg James translation. When you don't deal with people with care, you find yourself losing out on not just hurting one person, but you hurt a multitude, because that person now becomes the social media voice. That person becomes the Democrat voice. That person becomes the Greg James Community Show voice, because they're going to tell their friends about how you treated them in a moment where they needed you the most.
Absolutely.
So I can appreciate what you just said. You open that door down there and you handle the people with care.
Absolutely. And so that opened us up to be in a really good position where people already, they kind of knew who we were.
Right.
We had facilities down in Lee County as well. And so we were out in the community also doing outreach. And so when you talk about that director of outreach role, we were sending out team members into different communities that have been impacted, some of those hardest hit communities, to actually go and tell them about these centers. So that way they could get there to get the resources we needed. We were also working to facilitate transportation for some folks that might not have had an opportunity to actually get there on their own, if their cars have been flooded out or something that happened where they couldn't make it. We were trying to do everything that we could in collaboration with those local community groups. And I think that's the biggest thing that I want to make known. When we talk about the work that Indelible has been doing, it's not only by our merit, right? We have to first give glory to God to be in a position to actually be a group that can do this. But the different organizations that we worked with, the churches, the community groups that we were working with, all together, collaboration was extremely important to be successful.
Wow. And that moment was a memorable moment, because I'm sure you all were able to make so many lives happy. You were able to make so much joy be birthed out of a situation that, as you called it, hope for the holidays, where there was no hope.
There was no hope.
And certainly hats off to Josh and to Mike and to the whole team, and especially you for being able to have a caring spirit and sitting here listening to you. I understand you all are definitely managing a lot of agency, helping a lot of agencies navigate through our communities. But I just want to feel and believe that the work that you all are doing inside of the communities is really ministry work, because ministry is meeting the needs of people. And when you look at what you did there, and when you look at what's going to be happening in Tallahassee on December the 9th at the Will Packer Performing Arts Center, you are opening up to say, whatever the needs are, we are here. It's Holiday on the Hill.
Yes, sir.
Let's talk about what that looks like.
So this is the exciting part. So number one, so everybody knows, Holiday on the Hill is going to be taking place on December 9th, this upcoming Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And so we will want to let folks know ahead of time, there is a process where you can RSVP. We won't be turning anybody away ahead of time, but what can put you in a better position once you get there to get checked in is to go to Eventbrite right now and type in Holiday on the Hill. Make sure it's set for Tallahassee, and that's going to take you directly to our reservation link. So that way you can let us know, how many children you're going to be bringing, how many folks you anticipate coming. And then what that'll do is put us in a good position so that we can service those individuals when they come. And if you're trying to figure out what can be expected, as I mentioned before, moms, bring the purse, leave that purse at home. You don't need that pop. Bring the wallet. Don't bring that wallet. Leave it at home, right? Because everything is free.
Everything.
We're going to be doing free toy giveaways. We're going to have free food. So we've got several food truck vendors that we're working with that we've already bought the food trucks out. So individuals are receiving tickets so that they can go and get a free meal, free hot meal from some of your favorite food truck vendors in Tallahassee, which is going to be a dope opportunity for people to just come out and fellowship together. We're also going to be giving away some free toys, activities for the kids. We're going to have bounce houses out there, arcade games for the kids, also arts and crafts. One of our community sponsors, Brownfield Preparatory Institute, is going to be bringing out a face painter. They're going to have art and crafts books for the kids to come and paint and color and anything that they want to do. So like I mentioned before, community partnerships is really important on this because, we're also working with Daryl Jones with the Leon County School Board, working with Commissioner Nick Maddox with First Promise Family Promise of the Big Bend. We're also doing an event with them the day before too, and inviting all of those families out. So there's going to be a lot of great things that people can take advantage of. But one thing we always know, right? One day of holiday events is great. It makes people feel good for the time, but eventually that food is gone and those toys, they get boring. So this year, we've invited out over 20 resource vendors that are going to be there to provide additional services and provide information on programs and initiatives that they have going on right here in the Tallahassee community so that folks can not only take away from what we're doing, but also get connected to valuable organizations that can help them get to a better economic perspective, better health, and overall better wellness.
Wow. So you all have made connections with some of the resources. More than likely, many of the people probably have no inkling that these resources are available.
Correct.
So you all have made a way to have resources available for people who are coming out on December 9th.
Yes, sir.
And not only that, but man, you just said something, and I was putting together a food truck in it. I just ain't get it done in time to make the vendors live. So so some of the food trucks, can you recall?
Yes, I can. We were keeping it, under wraps to try to,
Okay, well don't surprise. No, keep it under wraps.
We can.
No. Keep it under wraps. Keep it
a secret.
Keep it a secret, and let them know.
Tell them this though, Reverend James.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about people. And so, when you think about some of those food truck vendors, the reason that we always do this is because we want to support Black businesses, right?
Wonderful.
So wonderful. To just being one group or going through a big corporate organization, we go and reach into the community where, small business owners just like our company can come out and have some economic benefit.
Wow. And man, that's thumbs up, because there are so many of our minority vendors who are out there, and to hear that on Saturday from 10 to 3, you're going to have vendors out there that you all are already invested into to make sure that they can provide the food for those who are coming. All you got to do is get your ticket in place. Go to Eventbrite. Go to Eventbrite. If you're listening to the broadcast, go to Eventbrite. Type in Holiday on the Hill. Register. RSVP. No one is going to be turned back, but they would love for you to go register so that they can start gauging the number of children and the number of families that they're going to be able to serve. But nobody's going to be turned back. They're operating under the theme, whosoever will, let them come. Let's talk about a little bit about some of the resources that are going to be there.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned before, we've got about 20 plus community vendors and agencies that'll be there. Some of them you may have heard of, some of them you may not, but we're going to have Career Source that'll be there with us. Also Career Source, the Healthy Start Coalition, Urban League, Carter's Corner. We also have Leon County Health Department that'll be coming out to share different information on health and wellness services that they can take advantage of. We're partnering with Second Harvest of the Big Bend. So even after folks, take home the free meals that we're providing through those food trucks, they'll also get a chance to take home a holiday package that'll be, full of things that they can take and cook for their family. So, it's not just about temporary sustainability, but also trying to create pathways for folks to learn more about how they can get to their own state. And I know, Reverend James, something you're probably familiar with. They say, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day.
Right.
Teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a life.
So life changes.
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, I am excited about what's happening. It's happening December the 9th at the Will Packer Performing Arts Amphitheater. That's on the FAMU campus. And listen, it's Holiday on the Hill, sponsored by Indelible Impacts. And I'm sitting here talking with he's wearing two hats. He's the executive director of Indelible Impacts, and he's the director of outreach for Indelible. And certainly he's no stranger to Tallahassee, Mr. Scott. I'm glad to have you with us. Let's talk a little bit about basically it's for everybody. Leon Gasson, anybody who's listening to this broadcast today and have children, you're welcome to join. They're going to give away. I don't know whether Santa's going to be there, but however, I do know this is he going to be leaving. He will be there.
Yeah, he will be. So big shout out to Healthcare Equity Solutions, Dr. Bruce James and Brittany James. They're one of our sponsors for this event. So they've been working with us on these community projects, improving health equity and wellness in different places across Florida, but they are actually going to be bringing their team out for Mr. and Mrs. Claus as well as their helpers. So there will be a photo booth with Santa, but I don't want people to think this is just, going to be public, background noise, right? We also have live performances that'll be
wait.
Stop. This entire
Stop. So you're telling me, oh my God. So you're telling me that there's going to be performances throughout this event.
Absolutely.
Oh wow. Listen, if you're listening, okay, somebody said, where should we park on campus?
So if you're familiar with FAMU's campus, there are some surrounding parking lots off of Wanish and off the Martin Luther King. So we're going to actually have a trolley system that we're working with FAMU on. So any of those surrounding parking lots that are a little bit further from the set, they'll be able to either walk up for those that can, or we'll also be doing some shuttles. But anywhere that they're able to park in that surrounding campus area, down by Foot Hillier, if you're familiar with that, there's some parking spaces there, and as well as out on the gravel pit a little bit closer to the actual intramural fields is another area where they can park. So I know that parking sometimes can be a challenge. So with FAMU, they've been gracious enough to help us get folks to and from that parking lot. So we don't want that to deter people. And we'll also have team members out there directing traffic so folks know where they can go. So we want to make sure that everybody comes out and that we can be accommodating for that event. And like I said, everything from live performances, Tallahassee Nights Live is going to be
Tallahassee, TNL.
Will
be performing.
Yes, sir. We also have comedian Type Mike.
Is that Mike from Orlando?
Type Mike, I believe he's in Atlanta right now.
He's in Atlanta.
Yes, sir. He's in Atlanta. He'll be coming down to be our host and keep the crowd laughing. We also have DJ Dimp and DJ Little from 102.3 that'll be spinning throughout the day to make sure that everybody's staying hype with the energy. So it's just an abundance of resources, an abundance of a good time. And like I said before, we're not asking of anything from anyone except to come, enjoy yourselves, bring your kids out, and have a great day of holiday cheer.
Hey, listen, you need to make plans to be there. It's happening December the 9th, that's at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., is the Will Packer Performing Arts Amphitheater. That's on the FAMU campus. Free toys, live music, food, resource fair, photos with Santa. Hey, you name it, it's going to be there. And guess what? If you want to register now, RSVP, you can go to Eventbrite. Once you get the Eventbrite, type in Holiday on the Hill and register. Register the number of kids, register, and be prepared. It's an amazing time. And one thing about the holidays is thumbs up, claps, hats off to any organization that makes the sacrifice to invest into families during this time. And certainly we want to thank Indelible for the amazing community outreach work that they are doing, and certainly to bring such a moment like this to the Hill at FAMU for the holidays. I think it's just, I mean, there are no words to explain what this will mean to the communities that will show up. So therefore, if any of you all are aware of organizations that deal with our children in the communities, mentoring groups, you name it, you want them all there, don't you?
We want them all there. We want them all there. And, for anybody that might be trying to get a little bit more information, they can definitely check our social media pages. If they go to Indelible on Facebook or on Instagram, there'll be some additional information about the event that they can learn more about it. And as Lee mentioned, we're doing community outreach even for this event. We've been going around. I've had the pleasure of interviewing with a few other folks in the community. Joe Bullard has been very supportive of the event. And as I mentioned, I just have to do a big shout out to our sponsors. The White House Family Foundation, the Hay Family Foundation, Leon County Schools, Brownsville Preparatory Institute, the Giving Closet, which is going to be helping us with those clothes that'll be given away, Healthcare Equity Solutions, 3017 Management, and all of the different community vendors that we have coming out. This event will not be possible without them. So we can never stand alone. Indelible actually means to leave a mark that cannot be removed. But in leaving those marks, I will continue to speak on how important collaboration is, even being able to come in here with you today, Reverend James. I think we coordinated this within the last 24 hours.
Absolutely.
And when you heard about it, the joy and the excitement that you had about it is really what fuels us, right? We have to continue as a Black community to work together and understand it's not about ego. It's not about, being first.
No.
It's about being there together.
And, one of the things that I'm grateful for, and as you stated, we heard about this event, within the last 24 hours. Our shows are always pre-planned. We already know who's going to be our guest. But when I heard about it, I immediately spoke with the guests that I had coming on, asked them would they mind. They did not mind, because I felt like this needed to get out into our community. There's so many families who are in need. There's so many families who can appreciate, as you just heard, one of the callers who called in runs an organization who deal with children. So for him to hear about it, it had to be the first time. So he wanted to know more. So there are people who are inboxing now wanting to know how many children can they bring? Can they bring groups of children? And I'm sure you can.
Yes, they can. We want to see as many children as possible. I had my team and I, we had the fun part of this. Planning events like this can be a little arduous at times, but we got a chance to go shopping a couple of days ago, and I have a 26-foot truck, 26-foot U-Haul. And we have filled that U-Haul up with toys from ages for kids from 0 to about 15 plus years old. So all of the school-age kids can come out and expect to get a gift. And, that's really the part that puts a smile on our face. Government work can sometimes be tedious. Sometimes it can be a challenge. We all know that there's a lot of challenges in our system. But when we get a chance to give back and really touch the community and interact with them in a meaningful way, that's really what gives me a lot of happiness for my role with Indelible, which is why I'm so grateful to be a part of this group and for our leadership as well. And not just with Mike and Josh, who founded the company, but Dr. Shamaria Robertson, who leads our Health and Human Services vertical.
Absolutely.
A lot of other folks that, have been really influential in the Tallahassee community. And so that's why Holiday on the Hill means so much, because this isn't just about Indelible, it's about FAMU. Big shout out to President Robinson, who has been a big advocate and support of this event. Booker Gaynor in the communications office, who has been a huge supporter of this event, and the entire review committee that's been working with us hand in hand to make sure that this event is successful. So I'm very excited about it, and we still got a couple of days of movement and grooving before the big day. But if anybody is listening to this, Eventbrite.com, search Holiday on the Hill. December 9th is Saturday from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And for those folks that are saying, where is that? If you've got Google, all you need to do is type in FAMU Grand Ballroom on Google, and it'll take you exactly where you need to be. Like I said, we'll have folks out there on our team directing traffic so folks know where they can park. And we, like I said, man, bring as many kids as you can. Bring your lawn chairs as well, because I said we got these live performances, Tallahassee Night Live, Elisa Moniz, Zuriel Johnson. We've also got some local talent too that we're working with. So those will be a big surprise for folks, giving them the opportunity to showcase their talent here. And so, you know, we're just blessed, man, and very fortunate that we've been getting a lot of love on this event leading up to Saturday.
Wow. Hey, listen, man, I want to thank you so much for all that you've been doing. And I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to meet you way back. I think you were waiting for state government then.
I was. So I cut my teeth in politics. I actually, worked on a congressional campaign back in the day with Congressman Graham, and had the pleasure of working in the House Minority Office as an aide to Leader Keone McGee. And so taking all of that experience from the government side of things and seeing what works, but also what doesn't work, I think is what makes us so strong at Indelible, because we can kind of see the gaps and then bring the expertise that's needed to fill those in so that people get what they need and that these programs are more effective.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate your voice. I appreciate the fact that you are now, congratulations, the executive director for Indelible Impact. And certainly we look forward to what's going to be happening, December the 9th, right here in the city of Tallahassee on the Hill. FAMU. It's going to be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You want to make plans to go ahead on, get to Eventbrite now. You want to register. You want to spread the word. Go to their Facebook page at Indelible. Look at some of the things that they've been doing in 5 years. They have been really doing some amazing work throughout, not just the state of Florida, but throughout this nation when it comes to making an impact in our communities and working with government agencies. So once again, it's December the 9th. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You got, on one station, they said 2 words. On this station, I said 3 words. DJ Lil Boy. Hey, he's become one of my favorites. I mean, my God, man. I didn't know, at 64, I didn't know I could move until I started listening to DJ Lil Boy.
Bro, you're only as old as you feel, man, and only as old as you think.
What you say, man? I like that. I'm going to use that now. I'm only as old as I feel. So I can change that around and be
these kids, man, and get some of that energy. You'll be moving and grooving. We definitely gonna have Lil Boy out there, DJ Dimp, keeping the crowd excited. We want to keep it to come out there, have fun. You know, bring your lawn chairs. Make sure you bring your chairs so you can relax. There's gonna be plenty of room on the green space of the amphitheater for y'all to sit down and enjoy the show. And like I said, if you got the kids, kid zones out there, bounce houses, a lot of cool activities for the kids to enjoy. And like I said, man, it's a day of celebration that nobody in the city will want to miss.
Wow. And it's a family day. It's a day to bring the family out for fun, fellowship, and good food right here in the city of Tallahassee. December the 9th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's happening. Will Packer Performing Arts Amphitheater in Tallahassee, 1675 South Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Hey, listen, man, it's been great talking to you, Mr. Scott. And hey, we look forward to Tallahassee, Gadsden, Jefferson, Wakulla. We're looking for all of the surrounding areas to come on out. No one's going to be turned away, but you do want to go to Eventbrite and you do want to register. All right, until then, listen, I want you to have a fun-filled week, and I look forward to seeing you on the Hill for Holiday on the Hill. Tallahassee Nights going to be there. Comedian Type Mike, DJ Lil Boy, DJ Dimp. It's happening this Saturday. You heard it right here on the Great James Community Show. Let this song bless you, and we out of here. Bless you, man. Hey, Fred, go ahead on now. Tag, share. Let's get everybody out for what's going to be happening this Saturday.